So, I've been playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble for the Switch, and I just gotta talk about it. Okay, so what you're about to experience is just me rambling about a game probably way more positively than you would ever anticipate anyone say, because this game got a lot of, like, pretty good reviews. You know, a lot of 7s out there, which is pretty cool, maybe some 8s if you're feeling lucky. I think this is my game of the year so far. So I've said in the past with the whole retrospective on the Monkey Ball franchise when Banana Mania came out, but I love this franchise to death. I love Super Monkey Ball so much. Obviously the GameCube classics are still great to go back to this day. We fast forward to more interesting games like Monkey Ball Advance and Touch and Go, which are like neat little novelties. I don't really hate them. Advance is kind of weird, but they're still kind of fun. Banana Blitz and Step and Roll were a weird era, but I still had some enjoyment with them, and then you go on to 3D and Banana Splits on Vita. You know, I am losing a lot of interest in this franchise, but there's still something there. Like, I really like the art style they went with after Banana Blitz. And Monkey Ball 2 on GameCube, I can go back any day of the week. That is still like a damn near perfect video game. I guess that honor goes to Monkey Ball Deluxe on PS2 and Xbox instead, but I played the GameCube one, so whatever, same thing. And then when we fast forward a bunch of years and we get Banana Blitz HD, which was a very odd choice. I played it and I'm like, this is fine, but I don't know why they did this one. They should do the originals, and then they did with Banana Mania. And here's where I think my opinions start to differ on this franchise than some of the really hardcore purists, because a lot of people will talk about how really good the physics are in Monkey Ball 1 and 2, and how Banana Mania doesn't really recreate them as well as they should be, so by proxy, it's a worse game. That is not something that really occurred to me at all. That is a product of me not knowing anything until I talked about the game for myself. I thought the game was incredible, and for the longest time, that was my favorite Monkey Ball game, because it's just all the content from 1 and 2 and even Deluxe. And even though the mini games are not as good as I want them to be, like just having those main levels plus all the side content with the missions and the extra playable modes, and then you can play as Sonic, that's kind of cool. Like, man, I loved Banana Mania a lot. Surely a new game was on the horizon, and sure enough, a Switch exclusive, at least for the time being, Banana Rumble. You know, there's a criticism right off the bat. Just sticking banana to the name of every Monkey Ball game going forward, you don't need to do that. It's not going to remind you that the characters are monkeys, like monkeys in the title. And Banana Rumble only really makes sense in the context of the battle mode. That really has no context in the story mode whatsoever, but it's okay. There is so much to go over here. First off, I want to talk about just how good this game looks. They changed the art style once again for all the playable characters and all the main colors that are used. I like this. I actually really like this. Once again, I like the art style that we already had after the first redesign, but something here, I just love how these characters look. You got Ai with the overalls, Gongon's wearing a vacation jacket. Something about their faces are just a whole lot more adorable. I like how this game looks a whole lot. I can get behind these guys as the stars of future games. I mean, Ai's got that little banana on his overalls, right? It's adorable. And we even got brand new character with Palette, who we were helping out along this adventure, and she's adorable too. Just a great cast of characters all around. I also want to mention that the soundtrack is incredible. It's not like every single world has an absolute banger of a song to accompany it, but so many of the songs in this game, man, are so damn good. If anything, it's a little bit annoying about the sound settings, making it kind of difficult to get the music at a level that I want so I can still hear the sound effects, like incredibly minor BS, but just go listen to Golden Temple. I think that's my favorite song in the game. It's so good. They were cooking so hard with the soundtrack. And then of course there's the core gameplay, which is the most important thing in a Monkey Ball game. You want these games to feel really good. You're tilting the world, not the character, but the characters in a ball. So you want to tilt things and have it feel so precise that you have full control at all times. And I don't know, man, once again, maybe some purists may have some differing opinions, but I love this game so much. Like, it's so good. It feels perfect. Like, every single time I tilted the stick, it felt exactly like I was doing what I wanted to do. No issues whatsoever. And then the level designs are great. One of the issues with games like Banana Blitz and Step and Roll is that they were too easy. Like, they started going really easy with the level design. It was a lot of just pushing your way through, going straight, and you're eventually going to get to the end. But here, once again, just like they were in the originals, some of the levels get really challenging. It starts off pretty easy for sure, but there's over 200 levels in this game, okay? Maybe around, like, World 5 or 6, it starts to ramp up in difficulty, and then it gets, you know, extra difficult as you get into the second set of 100 levels. Levels are split up into packs of 10 for different worlds in the story mode too. Like, there's a story in this game. All the monkeys are just relaxing, and Pallet comes in looking for some treasure, and her dad, and you being the nice guy, you're like, okay, we'll go ahead and do it. Why not? It's just a means to get to the ball rolling gameplay, like, I get it, but these cutscenes are so adorable. They're exactly what they need to be. On top of the new art style, they got this new animation style where the characters just are so bouncy and cartoonish, and their faces are so expressive, and the dialogue is properly adorable. Like, obviously there's no voice acting. I don't think we need voice acting in our Monkey Ball games, but these were just pleasant to go through. The story's not like it's amazing. Like, there's brand new characters. There's Fess, T, and Val. Adorable naming structure. We have non-monkeys, like that's really cool, and they play like some kind of antagonistic role, wanting to get the treasure before you, but this is not, it's not a plot for like a Zelda game. You know, there's a bit of a cutscene, you do 10 stages, there's another cutscene, and you just rinse and repeat until the credits roll. It gets the job done because, hey, Monkey Ball 2 had that also, alright? And you got to go into a freaking whale in that one. I love unnecessary story modes trying to make things make sense. This is perfect in this game. And maybe it would be just enough if it was like, hey, a bunch of cool levels in a brand new Monkey Ball game. We haven't had brand new levels that were really competently made in this franchise in a really long time. Like, maybe there was a mobile game that showed up that may have been somewhat decent, but like the 3DS game Banana Splits, the level design was pretty weak. Here, they finally knew what they were doing. You got these moving platforms, there's holes all over the place, there's railings you gotta consider, and one of my favorite things that this franchise has done ever is introduce the spin dash. Like, obviously it's Sega, they can get away with calling anything a spin dash, I get it. But it changes how you approach these levels so much, because while there are still plenty of levels that don't need the spin dash whatsoever, it is a game changer in terms of speedruns, as well as passing over some gaps in the later levels. And if you're someone who plays these games over and over again and want to really learn all the different shortcuts and cool little paths you can take, the spin dash opens up a whole new world of opportunity with these shortcuts. Like, oh my god, it does so much more for the base Monkey Ball formula in a positive way than the jump ever did. That ruined the Monkey Ball formula because you could just skip everything. Not here though. You have levels that do get progressively tougher, and you can either choose to or not to use the spin dash, and it changes so much. God, it's such a good mechanic. But the thing that really puts this game over the edge, in my opinion, is every single stage has 3 different missions to go for. You could just go ahead and beat all the levels, and then I don't know what your review score for the game would be if you just plowed through it, not caring about completion in the slightest, but every level having 3 challenges, plus the levels are still pretty short at the end of the day. There's a 1-minute time limit on all of them. Each challenge changes up how you view the stages, and I think that goes such a long way. There's one lone golden banana in each stage that can be very difficult to get, especially later on in the game. Like, oh my god, this is very difficult to get. I made sure the way I played this game is I wouldn't progress until I did the current level's golden banana, and some stages took like 45 minutes for me to get the bounce just right. They're not in easy places whatsoever. It's not like they're hidden. You see where they are, but they make it so grating at times, in a good way. I found it to be really fun and challenging, but man, it gets challenging. And then I was going back later on to do the other 2 challenges, which are simply get to the end of the level in a certain time limit, or get to the end of a level after collecting a certain number of bananas. By completing any of these missions, you are collecting points that you can then use in the shop to buy cosmetics for your monkeys. I've talked about loving cosmetic unlockables in these types of games in the past. I'm really glad that's here. That is a great incentive for me to do the other missions, on top of just filling out the achievement screen anyway. Like, you get bonus points for completing every single mission in an entire world. I'm gonna do that. It's gonna take some time. I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna do that. The thing with previous Monkey Ball games is I was never really a speedrunner, so I would just like go from start to finish, and that was about it. Banana Mania gained a lot of points for me because it introduced a handful of different modes, like the Dark Banana mode and whatnot, as like a different way to approach some levels, and I really like that. So now the fact that there's like a different set of missions for every single level, that alone, honestly, like the bite-sized gameplay on top of those challenges, I don't think I've had as much fun with a single video game in the year so far. Like, that's all it boils down to for me, is it's just simple fun with challenging level design where every level throws something new at you, great aesthetics, great soundtrack. One thing that's also really cool is you can really feel the differences with all the playable characters this time around. There's a chart on the character select screen that lists out the differences between the character's weight and their spin dash and their ability to break. Like, cool. But after replaying this level so many times, there are so many advantages to different characters. So changing their formula with each character, also great. Like speedrunning as Baby makes sense, but there are sometimes levels later on that use the speed up panels, and because he's not all that weighted, it can be a little bit challenging for tiny little baby to go up all the speed ramps, so you go down to someone like Ai, who's an all-rounder, and things are a lot easier. I love details like that. I feel like I'm just rambling on, like, randomly about this game, but I loved everything about this. I honestly have zero complaints with the story mode of Banana Rumble. It's incredible. It's the best Monkey Ball experience I've had to date. I know that's kind of tough for people to consider because, man, Monkey Ball 2 holds such a high regard in so many people's minds, and myself too. But God, I think they nailed this. And eventually, man, there's an unlockable challenge that is like doing a time trial for not just a single world, which that does exist, but for the entire game. I can't wait. I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna love it. It's gonna stress me out, but it's gonna be fun. But real quick, I do gotta mention the whole Banana Rumble part of the name real quick, because that is mostly indicative of the brand new battle mode, which has online multiplayer. Very cool. You can do the adventure game and do the normal levels with other players too. I had zero luck getting people online with it, so this is something that's gonna be like strictly local play, I guess, but I mean, it's cool that it's an option. But the battle mode, you know what? Even though Banana Target isn't in this game, and I know that's something that Monkey Ball fans desperately need in their Monkey Ball game, I loved this battle mode too. The biggest criticisms that I have for the battle mode online, right off the bat, is the frame rate is cut in half. I think that might just be a Switch thing. Like, I do feel like this game will come to other consoles in like a year's time or whatever. Like, for God's sakes, there's a stage that's just PlayStation buttons. Like, come on. But also, I don't know if this is a Switch limitation or if there's really just not that many people playing online, but every time I went to play the mode, I would only get like 2 or 3 player characters, and then the rest would be filled with computers. And unless all these people are real and they have just this keyboard mashing name that they've been rocking for a few years, like maybe that's true, but I don't think that's true. But the way it works is you wait in this lobby for a little bit, you wait to connect with other people, and then you play one of 5 different minigames. There's Gold Rush, where you've been split into a team of 2 with the other players, and you keep going down this ramp to get as many points as you can by going through these point rings, and then sometimes there are these bonus rings that pop up, and it's just a score attack. It's pretty fun. Because there are so many gates, it's been like a little personal challenge just to see if I can get the most points possible myself. Because some of them are like up in the sky and some of them are up at ramps and one of them is at the very, very end. Like, that was pretty fun. I liked Gold Rush. There's Robot Smash, where similarly you get split up into a team of 2. And there are these big monkey robots that pop up around the field and you just gotta bump into them like crazy. That's it. The finesse comes into using your spin dash, which I like, once again, a whole lot. There are these tiny robots around the field that you can just go right into with the spin dash, no problem, but there's also a lot of big monkey robots that you have to plan your moves precisely with these speed pads or these ramps to break the really big ones. And then yeah, it's another time-based thing, which team can get the most points, but it was pretty gratifying in my opinion to plan out which robots to kill. Maybe I can sneak in and break a robot that's already had like 90% of damage taken to it and I can screw over the other team. It was a fun mode. Then we got Ba-Boom, a bit of a hot potato mode where some characters have bombs, some characters don't, and the characters with the bombs only have a few seconds to throw their bomb onto someone else. And this is fun, staying away from the people with the bombs by, I don't know, maybe using a spin dash to do a jump where you wouldn't think a jump would be. That's really cool. I'm telling you, that spin dash changes the whole game. And the frantic nature of this really just comes down to the time limit. It's like, I don't know, 10 seconds per round? It goes by shockingly quick. But I don't know, that's not really a complaint for me because of just how frantic the whole idea of hot potato is in general with these ball rolling mechanics. I was totally cool with this coming and going, and you know, I still won some of them. There was like 1 or 2 times I cheated by finding this nice spot on a wall that I couldn't be touched with. Like that was cool. I was happy about that one. There's Banana Hunt, which is also very straightforward. There's just a bunch of bananas on the field. Sometimes there's a banana cloud that shoots out big bunches of bananas. And yeah, just this one's not team-based, so just go for your own win. I mean, I guess the bomb one didn't have a team mode either, but this one definitely feels a lot more everyone for themselves, because I mean, most of these modes also have items that you can use, like Mario Kart style, but it feels more personal here. Like, man, you're going in for the kill because there are bananas all over the place. Everybody's going for the bunches of bananas, so you gotta go for the kill. You need that potassium. It is my least favorite of the 5, I think, but it's still a good time. And last up, there's the race, which, yep, it's 16 Monkey Ball players just on a race, and you're just on a track, and then whoever can get there first, you can screw over your opponents. This all makes sense, and this one is a fun game. I do like it. However, this is really the only one where the limitations of the Switch, I guess, with the 30 FPS really starts to show. The other games, there is a level of precision you gotta consider for sure, but it's not as precise as doing some of these tracks. Like, this is just like a really long Monkey Ball track, right? So doing that with 30 FPS, it does feel a little bit more clunky than I want it to be. So if that's the only real complaint I have, it's not a big deal for me at the very least at the end of the day, because I did enjoy it still, but this I feel like is almost confirmation that it's coming to other consoles, and if that's not the case, I'm stunned. And one of the most interesting things about the battle mode is that there's actually like seasons going on with different unlockables that you get for accumulating enough points in the set time limit of the season, which is very much like a typical free-to-play battle royale thing nowadays, right? But it's here in Monkey Ball. I didn't even catch that in like the pre-release trailers. Like, that was a big surprise for me. And as far as I can tell, I am still not the type of person to really dedicate myself a lot to playing through an entire season. Like, I feel like there's a dedication to that, to getting all the way through in a short amount of time. I don't have that kind of time. I appreciate what they're trying to do because it's cool, but if the only way I can get these items is through the seasons, that's kind of annoying. But you know what else I gotta say, because like, of course, this is my bias here, but because the multiplayer modes are kind of like how they are with the races and then also the random ones with like a focus on combat, and even though this game is probably gonna sell pretty well, the online is very clearly dead, so they fill up the entire lobby with CPUs. I'm getting big Kirby's Dream Buffet vibes, because that was also a game that was really fun and almost Fall Guys-like and had a bunch of races and combat-based stuff. Like, it's kind of like that. They also both seemingly have like completely dead online lobbies, so that's unfortunate, but that's where my mind went. You know, for me, at the end of the day, it just really comes down to fun, like just pure basic fun, and I really have not had as much fun with the game this year that's not Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. I love this game to death. This is now, even though I'm still going through it, so I guess my opinion can change, but quite frankly, this is my favorite Monkey Ball game now, bar none. It is currently my game of the year, which I did not see coming. I thought I would like this game, and that was about it, but no. And damn it, man, it feels good to have a brand new Monkey Ball game again with a hopeful, bright future. I've been playing the same reused Monkey Ball tracks for decades now, man. Like, it's been so long, and I don't know what they can do in the future besides just doing more of the same, but they've put so much effort into changing up how Monkey Ball is just presented to the masses that, once again, hopeful future. And if there is a sequel, I will be there day one. Am I gonna buy the game again when it inevitably comes out to PS5 and Steam? Probably not. I bought it once, I did my due diligence, and now it's your turn. That's all I got. Sound off in the comments if you're also a Banana Rumbler, and I'll catch you guys next time. Oh yeah, there's also no Dole Banana sponsorship like there was in a previous game. That's unfortunate.